In this video, we'll show you how to add fractions where the fractions are not the same type. We have to cut the fractions into smaller pieces to make them into the same type. We want the new types of fraction to be as big a bit as possible. We don't want tiny bits. Look at the fractions we have here and you'll see that the smallest number on the bottom gives you the biggest fraction. So the type of fraction we want is one with a small number on the bottom. We're looking for the fraction type with the smallest number on the bottom that works for both fractions. The question we're going to do is 3/4 plus 2/3. Leave spaces for working on both sides. We're going to tables in there and we might end up with a divide on this side. Now our fractions are different. We've got quarters and thirds. We have to find the biggest type of fraction we can cut them both into. This is the smallest number on the bottom that works for both fractions. I'm going to write part of the 4 and 3 times tables across here. We've got 4 and 3. Now 3 is the smallest of the 4 and the 3, so we add another 3 on to make 6. That's 2 3s is 6. 4 is now the smallest number, so we add 4 onto the 4 and we get 8. That's 2 4s is 8. 6 is now the smallest number, so we add another 3 on, so 3 and 6 gives you 9, so it's 1 2 3 times 3 is 9. Now we've got 8 as the smallest number, so another 4 onto 8 gives us 12. And the smallest number is now the 9. So we add another 3 on to get 12, and you can now see that 12 is in both columns. So we circle the 12 and that's the number we use in the bottom. We're working in 12s. We've got 1 2 3 in 12 for the 4s and we've got 4 of them for the 3s. So we write 12 under both fractions. The smallest type of fraction we can make quarters and thirds into is 12ths. Why does this work? We'll have a look at the pizzas. So here we've got 3/4 pizza and 2/3 pizza. Now if we have a look at the numbers, the smallest number to start with was the 3, so we're looking at the thirds pizza. So what we're doing by adding a 3 to make 6, we've got 2 3s is 6, is we're chopping each part of the pizza in 2. So we're taking each third and making it into 2/6. But if we try that with the quarters, with 6th, you can see that it doesn't work because we get other wee bits. So we can't chop quarters into 6th. So the 6th doesn't work. The next thing we did is we moved down to 8. So we took 2 4s is 8. So this time we're trying to chop with 8ths. And if we have a look, we're chopping, because it's 2 4s, we're chopping each quarter in 2 pieces, which are 8ths. So you see that each of the quarters is chopped into 8ths. But if we try and chop thirds into 8ths, again, it doesn't work. So the next one we tried after 8ths was the third one down for 3s, which is 9ths. So it's 3 parts we're chopping each third into. If you see, each third is 1 2 3 9ths, 1 2 3 9ths. So obviously 9ths works with thirds, but if we try 9ths with quarters, you can see it's all over the place. We've got wee bits here and there. So 9th doesn't work. So that was why we tried the 9ths. And the next one in the quarters we see we try the third one down, so we're chopping each of the quarters in 3 bits to make 12ths. So each of the quarters has got 3 12ths in it. So that's why we try it. So 12ths work with quarters, then we take our 12ths across to the thirds, and you can see it works. Each of the thirds has got 4 12ths in it. And if you have a look, that's the next thing we did. We did 4 3s is 12. So we get 4 in each of the thirds, and it works as well. So we can chop quarters and thirds into 12ths. Now we'll have a look at finding the top numbers. The 4, to make the 4 up to 12, we multiply by 3. 4 3s is 12. So to keep the same fraction, we must do the same to the top number. So multiply the 3 by 3, and this gives us 9. Could you press pause and try the same for the second fraction? This time, to get 12, we multiply the 3 by 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So to keep the same fraction, we must multiply the top number by 4 as well. And this gives us 2 times 4 equals 8. Now we'll have a look at this on the pizzas. We'll first look at the quarters. So what we're doing here is multiplying by 3 to get 12. So if we take a look at the total, you'll see each of the quarters has got 3 parts in it. So that is why we're multiplying the 4 by 3 to get the 12 parts. The numbers we've got, we do exactly the same to. So there we've got the 3 of them there, the quarters, and again each of them split into 3 parts. So we get 3, 6, 9. So that's how we get the 9 12ths. We've got to multiply them by 3 because we've got to split the parts by the same number. So we'll have a look at the thirds. And again, if we look at the number of the Rauto, every third has 4 12ths, so we get 4, 8, 12 12ths. And that gives us a 3 times 4 is 12. And the parts that we actually have, each of them is worth 4 12ths, so we'll get 4 and 8. So we can now look at adding them. If we have a look, we've got 9 12ths plus 8 12ths gives us 17 12ths. Looking at the pizzas, we've got the 9 12ths plus 8 12ths and gives us all together, we've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 12ths. And the next thing we do is 17 is bigger than the 12, so we go 12 into the 17, 17 divided by 12, and we get 1 12 out of the 17 and a remainder of 5. Now we're dividing by 12, so the parts are 12ths, so we get 1 and 5 12ths. And the final answer is 1 and 5 12ths. If you have a look at the pizzas, that is what we've got. We've got 1 whole pizza and 5 12ths. If you're not sure about parts of the working, go back and have another look at the video. If you've not got a pencil and paper, press pause and get one. You are going to do the next question with me. We're going to do the next question without looking at pizzas until the end. The question we're going to do this time is a half plus 4/5. Now always keep the working the same. We'll leave a space here for the tables and a space here in case we need to do a divide later on. Keep the working the same. You're drawing and reinforcing patterns in your brain. We first have to find the biggest type of fraction we can cut them both into. We're looking for the smallest numbers on the bottom for both fractions. So we do the parts of the tables for 2 and 5. So we write 2 and 5 at the side. Now press pause and write part of the 2 and 5 times table until you get the same number in both. Two is the smallest number, so add 2 to make 4, which is 2 times 2 is 4. 4 is still the smallest number, so add another 2 to make 6, which is 1, 2, 3 times 2 is 6. 5 is now the smallest number, so add 5 to make 10, which is 2 times 5. 6 is the smallest number, so add another 2 to make 8, which is 4 times 2 is 8. And 8 is still the smallest number, so add 2 to make 10, which is 5 times 2 is 10. You can see 10 is in both columns, so you circle the 10, and we now know that we can make halves and fifths into tenths. Write 10 below both fractions. Now to find the top numbers. Press pause and find the top number for the first fraction. We cut each of the halves to make 5 slices. 2 times 5 equals 10. So we've also got to do that for the one of the halves we have. The 1 times 5 equals 5 slices we've got. So we have 5 tenths. Now press pause and try the second fraction. This time we cut the fifths to make 2 slices. So we get 5 times 2 is 10 slices in the whole pizza. So the 4/5 of pizza we've also got to cut into 2s. So we get 4 times 2 is 8. All we're doing is multiplying the top and bottom by the same number to keep the same fraction. Now we've got to add the fractions, so press pause and add the tenths. 5 tenths plus 8 tenths equals 13 tenths. Now we notice that 13 is bigger than 10, so we have to do the divide. So divide your 13 by 10, press pause and do the division. There is 1 10 in 13 and there are 3 left over. We're dividing by 10, so it must be in tenths, so it's 1 and 3 tenths. So our final answer is 1 and 3 tenths. Now we'll have a look at the pizzas. Right, if we have a look at the tables that you draw, we've got 2, 4, so the second one's 4, so 2 2s is 4, so that means that we're checking quarters. And if you have a look, we get 2 quarters, because 2 2s was the 4, we get 2 quarters in each half. But if we try it on the fifths, you'll see it just doesn't work. The next one we tried, we added another 2 on to get 3 2s is 6. So we're trying 6th, and because 3 2s is 6, you can see we get 3 of the 6th in each half. So that works, but if we have a look at the fifths, there's no alignment there. So that means that it doesn't work. Now the 5 was the smallest one next. So we added a 5 on to get 2 5s is 10. So there's 2 tenths in each of the fifths. So it works. But also you can see that it works with halves as well. And we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths, and that's the 10 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us tenths. We never talked about the 8 there, so we'll have a wee shorty in with the 8, and you'll see the 8 doesn't work. So that's why we can't use that, and we'll go straight to the tenths. Now we'll replace them. If we replace the fifths there with your 4/5 with your 8 tenths, and if we replace the half with the 5 tenths, you can quite easily see that we get the 13 tenths, because 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is 13 tenths. And then if we put the 2 in there, when we divide, you see, we'll just swap these around and we get 1 and 3 tenths. And that's how we get the final number. So this sort of working makes these calculations really easy. Now there's no many tests in this video, so move straight on to adding mixed numbers, or if you want, have another look at this video.